Could your daily routine be full of hormone disruptors? There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent-free in our environment right now. In our food, our water, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear, our skincare, they all mess with our hormones. The good news is we don't have to suffer through it anymore because now we have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms of women of all ages. Since I've been using Hormone Harmony, I have felt more balanced, and other women feel the same way. The biggest benefit, they say, is feeling like myself again. That's what women mention over and over in their reviews, and there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today.
March is Sleep Awareness Month, the perfect time to think about the quality of your sleep and how the mattress you choose can make all the difference. Avocado Green Mattress is committed to providing mattresses that not only help you sleep better, but also are healthier for you and the planet. Avocado mattresses promote better sleep through breathable, naturally temperature-regulating materials, which can improve overall well-being. No harmful chemicals, just healthy materials for a cleaner, safer sleep. And best yet, Avocado's committed to sustainability. Their mattresses are made from organic, eco-friendly materials that are good for both you and the planet. Plus, their mattresses are built to last, keeping more mattresses out of the landfill. Isn't it time to upgrade your mattress for you and the planet? Head to avocadomattress.com today and save up to 10% on certified organic mattresses. Dream of better. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Brunch Talk, where we answer your burning dating questions.
I feel like I've been away from you for so long, Yue, so we have to catch up on Brunch Talk. You know, we obviously live in different cities and we're used to having a virtual, obviously we see each other, but primarily virtual relationship because we talk pretty much every day. But the last couple of weeks we have been together nonstop. So I am now missing you and craving back in person.
Well, I gotta say, I am so used to being on my own. And the last few weeks has been like nonstop social interaction, not just with you, but like with friends. And it's just been a lot. My neuro system it's like, what is happening?
I agree. And you know, it's funny because we want to talk about some questions we've gotten around dating burnout on this Brunch Talk, but I'm feeling just the burnout in general.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sick, first of all. So if I sound extra weird today, then that's why. But I think it's all taken like a toll on me. And I just feel like I haven't been sharp this week either. Like I've let things slip and just been absent-minded. And I'm like, I think I'm just really burnt out.
I think it makes sense. It's been back-to-back events. There's so much happening. We still have the podcast going.
Right.
So it's not like that was on pause for any reason. And it's just like, in-person events are so fun, but they do take a lot of energy because you have to be on.
I mean, Yue and I usually go to South by Southwest, but this year we're not going. And I think this actually is the right decision. We've been kind of going back and forth. You know, we love it. It's our favorite event. So we're like, is this the right call? Should we go? Should we figure out a way? And then I can't even imagine getting on a plane right now.
I'm so relieved we're not going. It's also like so much social interaction at South by too. And it's like, it's lovely meeting awesome people, but there's a lot of energy. And yeah, I just want to be in bed. I'm just overwhelmed by all the stuff that's happening this year because we have more events in April and May. We got your Bachelorette in June. We got your wedding in August. It's like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's another side of burnout is I've been really trying to like get everything done. You know how people are like, oh, it takes a year to plan a wedding. I feel like I'm going to be pretty good in 2 months.
Yeah, you've been crushing it. And you don't seem that fazed by the wedding planning process.
I'm also not super particular. Like I know a lot of people have a very distinct vision. My best friend Kate asked like, what's your theme of the wedding? And I was like, nature? I don't know. And she's like, that's not a theme. Mine was like boho chic. And I'm like, I didn't know that when I was at your wedding. She's like, don't you remember like all of the book centerpieces and I don't know, like other things she was mentioning. I'm like, honestly, I love you. Your wedding was amazing, but no one remembers that stuff except for you.
Oh my gosh. I was just going to say that. I've been to how many weddings? I do not remember a theme for any of them. I don't really remember the decor.
Nope. You remember, did you get good booze and like have fun? And was the food good? That's all you remember. Was the food good? Yeah.
Yeah. Barely remember the bride and groom. Barely remember. Like, which wedding was it that where they had uni? There was a wedding I went to that had uni.
That's what you remember. That's what you remember. It's funny because like I did find a dress I really liked and I'm probably going to go back today and get it. But I actually had to do a quick check because my other best friend, Melissa, got married last year and she got it from the same place. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is it the same dress? Because I don't want to wear the same dress as her. It wasn't the same dress, but it just shows you like, I remember her looking beautiful. I remember loving her dress, but could I tell you what that dress looked like? No.
No. And I think it's funny when people go to weddings and the pictures they post are of them. It's always like, I'm celebrating blah, blah, and blah, blah. And here's me. Here's me and my date. And here's me again. And here's the bride in the back. She's all blurry. Don't worry about it.
It's a very funny industry. I am excited though. Like I was talking to another friend about this. Like even the Bachelorette, like what other time would I ever have like all my different friend groups take a trip together? Never.
Yeah. I'm low-key a little scared for your Bachelorette. It's a lot of fucking girls. I was never in a sorority for a reason. And it's like a lot of fucking girls. You have a lot of friends from like all different areas of your life and they're all lovely, but like
It'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah, no. I think in general, like I've like erred on the side of like over inclusion because I don't know. It's like you have people that want to celebrate you. Like why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like only you guys can come. Like that just feels weird to me too.
Yeah. And I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, be as exclusive as possible.
We are very different that way.
We're
that's
very
for
different.
Sure.
But also, you like to be included. Like, I don't care less.
I do.
I couldn't care less.
You don't. You don't.
So, yeah. So that's why you're like, I want to include everyone. I'm like, no, I want to.
It is a thing for me. For sure. It is a thing for me. And I started off being like, maybe I just won't have any bridesmaids. And now I have like
now
10.
You have 30. Everybody coming to my bachelorette is a bridesmaid.
That would be out of control. But I'm also just like, I don't care what you wear. You don't need to do your hair and makeup. Like, do it yourself. Like, it's not going to be intense. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to be doing like the whole day and wearing an ugly fucking outfit. Like, I've had to wear some pretty ugly bridesmaid dresses that, people pick what they want. I think that approach is so much better. For my friend Melissa, she just gave like a color palette. I ended up using one I already owned. Like I did try on a bunch, but that was the best one. And it was great. I felt good.
Yeah, it worked out.
It was part of it. We all actually blended together. It was perfect.
And you can rewear that dress because you like that dress. And
I've already worn it 3 times.
Yes. Works out so well. Because also, let's be honest, nobody remembers the bridesmaids' dresses.
No.
Nobody.
No. We were actually saying, Yue and I were talking about this of like armoire is actually a perfect bet for a bridesmaid dress because you can rent like 6 things at once. You could try on like a bunch of different dresses, send the ones back that you don't like, only have it for the month. I know they are a sponsor, but this is not a sponsored section. It like legit, we were like, we should be doing this.
I wholeheartedly want to really just tell you all how impressed with Armoire I've been. Yes, you can rent dresses for weddings and events, which I will be doing for Julie's wedding and maybe bachelorette weekend. But also, like, I guess I want to talk about this because I think this is the best hack ever. When I was in SF for all those events, it was fucking cold and raining. I rented coats from Armoire to be delivered straight to my friend's house who I was staying with. And I wore it all week. I was never cold. I had like this really nice big coat.
You look stylish too.
Yeah, it's a really nice coat. And then at the end of the trip, I sent it back via USPS and I didn't have to carry any of it in my luggage. Oh my God. I wish I had that for all of my previous trips to New York, to Chicago, where I'm just never going to wear this stuff in LA, but I still want to look good.
Yeah, I love it. I want to do this for our New York trip for sure.
We should. So use the code DATEABLE for 50% off your first month.
But this is legit from our heart. We actually spent like an hour talking about this yesterday in relation to my wedding.
Like, it would be cool if all the bridesmaids rented their dresses and didn't have to buy and own a dress.
When I was looking through to swap out my next options, I saw all these dresses and I was like, oh, these would be perfect for bridesmaids' dresses. I'm going to give that resource.
But you still haven't decided on a color, right? And like, you're a little burnt out, so maybe think about the color later.
I have a general idea of color, but I'm not fully there.
Okay.
So I haven't like nailed it down 100%, but I'm on to florists now. So I'm going to work with them and that will help with the color too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, burnout. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like even with our podcast, like people don't see this side, but obviously there's putting the episodes out, editing, production, all that, social media. And then there's like a business side on the back end that we work on. Like one thing I need to do, taxes. Stuff like that. That's maybe not the glamorous side of podcasting. And I just feel like this week I've been so excited to get back into that side because we've been away from it the last couple months with all the book tour stuff. But then at the same time this week, I've just been so burnt out that I feel like I'm struggle to do anything.
It's a real thing. Our bodies need to recover. Our minds need to recover. We can only hold so much information in our minds. I think we've reached the peak.
I did go to a day spa though on Resort Pass, who I also want to become our sponsor because I'm obsessed with Resort Pass. I went to a day spa with my friend Kate that was in town and it was so magical. It was the day after I got back from LA. So that morning I got up really early to go to Calistoga in Napa. It is like the most magical place. It's like this spa with like 5 pools. And it was like $100 for the day, which isn't nothing, but normally it costs like thousands of dollars to stay at this resort.
Which resort?
It's called Solage.
Oh, Solage.
Yeah.
You've stayed there before.
I've never stayed there, but I've gone to the day pass on Resort Pass there.
Got it. I'm pretty sure we're staying near there for your bachelorette.
Yes, because she definitely took a little detour during this day to go check it out. She's like,
I was wondering.
I have something I need to do.
I was wondering because she sent videos. I was like, how does she get videos of this place already?
I know. It's like, is it related to The Bachelorette? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay at the spa. You go, you do it. I'm not going to get in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh, she's such a good friend.
She is.
Really don't have to worry about anything.
No, it's amazing.
Totally hands off.
And I think, though, it is the one thing, like, for The Bachelorette. I mean, I've definitely organized my share of Bachelorettes. So I was like, hey, if you need help, hit up all these people that I've done their Bachelorette for. But I feel like it's the one thing, like, now as being in the opposite side, that I'm like, oh my God, it's nice to not have to plan this.
Oh, I know.
It's like there's so many things that you're planning. It's nice to have this off.
Yeah, it's like nonstop event planning.
Yeah.
On all fronts. Well,
it'll be
I'm
fun.
glad you did your day spa with Kate. I'm glad that she also, she's productive. Goes to a day spa and finds the place we're staying at for your bachelorette.
It's great.
No wonder. Like, she's very high functioning.
Gotta multitask, do it all. Anyways, we are going to turn this convo to dating burnout, not just burnout in general, but I actually wanted to talk about too, these 12 stages of burnout that we talked about in the episode we did with Gemma Sebag from The Psychology of Your 20s. She touched on this, how they're related to workplace and life, not necessarily dating, but there's a clear parallel to dating. So anyways, I want to get into that more. I want to get into our questions around dating burnout. But before we do, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
Let's be honest, sometimes no matter how much you want to be in the mood, your mind and body just aren't on the same page. This episode is sponsored by Via, the brand behind the most loved THC libido gummy on the market, designed to enhance intimacy, heighten pleasure, and help you fully embrace the moment. Originally created as a limited edition Valentine's release, High Love was such a massive hit that Via made it a permanent part of their lineup. For the last 2 years, it's been helping adults enhance intimacy, heighten pleasure, and feel more connected than ever. These gummies are a hit for me as well, as I am so impressed by the powerful blend of cannabinoids and time-tested aphrodisiac herbs. The formula increases my blood flow, awakens my senses, and helps me fully embrace the moment. Now, if you're 21 and over, head to viahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off, free shipping on orders over $100, and if you're new to Via, get a free gift of your choice. That's VIIA hemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. After you purchase, they ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Via.
Your old or broken phone can let you down when you need it most.
Perfect.
But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get the most for it, up to $2,000 in value, for an amazing new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and a new line on My Plan, and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. That's like a 3-for-1. And you can get it on any plan. At Verizon, trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. The other guys won't give you that. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad. Up to $2,000 value based on iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch.
Geico makes it easy to get affordable renter's insurance in as little as 90 seconds. That way, you have more energy for harder things, like the laundry. Why is it so difficult to fold clothes? They just end up wrinkly anyway, or on the floor in a pile that just sits there, taunting you. But with renter's insurance through Geico, at least you know that those clothes and the other things you love are covered. Get more with Geico.
Dating burnout.
I hear. Well, I think this is a topic that is so top of mind for us because at every event we went to in the last few weeks, someone had a question or a comment about being burnt out from the apps specifically, and then what they should do about it.
Totally. And I mean, we get questions about how do you stay more hopeful in dating? How do you not let it like burn you out? And it's interesting because I'm looking at these 12 stages of burnout. Stage 1, you feel like there's a strong need to prove yourself. This is probably like, I need to get into a relationship. I need to get on the apps. Stage 2, you keep working harder and harder to achieve this. Stage 3, you begin to neglect your own needs more. Stage 4, you're conflicted and blame others or the situation. I feel like a lot of people are there, and I think you wouldn't necessarily be like, I'm burnt out, but it's like the start of that burnout where apps are the enemy. The other people suck. There's no one good on the apps. No one responds. Everyone is flaky. Like, no one good in my city. Like, all this stuff we hear.
And then there's 12 steps?
Yeah, the next one, stage 5, you change your values to focus on work more. How many times have we heard people in dating be like, I'm going to focus on dating. I'm not like not do this hobby of mine and focus on dating. I love stage 6. You deny the problem that arise due to work stress. You can obviously put in dating stress.
So you're in denial.
Well, I think, like if you're like constantly dating and feeling the burnout, it definitely seeps into other relationships you have. Like the negativity comes out. Stage 7, you withdraw from social life and your family as well. Hopefully people aren't getting to stage 7 and above. Then your behavior changes. Stage 10, you feel empty and dumb. Substance abuse can occur. Let's try to like not have this happen. And then stage 11 is depression. Stage 12 is mentally and physically collapse, full burnout. So that's why I think when we talked to Gemma about this, it was like, how do we catch this in the early stages so they don't go to this? Because we don't want anyone like mentally and physically collapsing over dating.
Okay, that's scary, those 12 stages. Because once you get to stage 5, it's like, can you turn it back? Like, I don't know, maybe too late. I actually think there's 3 simple stages to dating burnout. If we were to look at them in a non-threatening way, I think there's dread. It always starts with dread. Oh, I don't want to go on the apps, or I don't want to go on this date, or and then there's defeat. It's the
Yeah.
second stage is like, there's nobody good out there. The scarcity. What's the point of doing this? I'm not going to find anybody great anyway. And then the third stage, which is the most amplified stage, is resentment. And it's like the resentment of the apps, the people around you, of the environment, of the government, of everybody. You're resentful of everybody because everyone is the problem.
I would say maybe the next like cycle to that too is just full on you give up.
Yeah.
Like you've just decided it's not worth it anymore. The love crisis that we're talking about, or when you feel like you've gotten burned too many times and it's just not worth dating anymore or finding love.
So how do you know that you are at some stage of the dating burnout? Maybe there's some signs. Like one is you feel the need to uninstall the apps.
Yeah. I think if you are on the app and everyone looks terrible to you.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, not everyone's going to be great. Anytime you go to any public place, not everyone there is your soulmate. But usually, like, some people are interesting enough. And again, it's the enough. It doesn't need to be this person that blows your socks off. Is that a weird term? That doesn't make sense. But anyways,
I know.
Blows your pants off? No, that sounds even worse.
Yeah, where did that
Anyways,
term, where did that
you know what I
phrase
mean?
come from?
Gets you all excited. That's a term,
This
right?
sounds so weird. It is.
Sounds weird when I said it.
Okay, keep talking. I'm going to research it.
You're like, I need to find this term. Anyways, I think like if you're at that point where everyone looks terrible, that means that there is something wrong here with the mental state that you're in. And that's a need to pause.
Yeah, we were talking about the what it's like to go shopping, the mentality for shopping. If you're in the mood, then you're always going to find something you want to buy. If you're not in the mood, everything looks terrible and you walk out of the store going, there's nothing good in there.
Totally. I think the other burnout too is if you just dread opening an app or you dread going to an in-person event or something to that degree, like feeling of dread. Like, I don't want to do this. It feels like work. All of this to me is time to take a little dating vacation and, cleanse yourself.
Yeah. Also, people think it's a sabbatical and we call it a vacation because a vacation, everything's refreshed and new and exciting. A sabbatical is like you're burnt out. I just need to rest and sleep for 48 hours.
Right.
So think about it as like, what's a new way that I can get myself out there, re-energize, pump more energy into my love life and not really taking that pause.
I think a quick way too to see if you're burnt out is just to observe how you talk about dating with your friends, because that will give you a lot of line of sight. Like, I feel like when I was burnt out, it was all negativity, or I've heard it from friends too that way. You can just tell when someone feels burnt out if most of what they're saying is not hopeful feeling. It's not saying like to have false hope, but just to recognize like where you're at on the spectrum. And if you are being negative, like, again, that's okay, but it's a pause to be like, okay, how do I not go further on this cycle and bring it back?
You ready for the origins of the phrase knock your
my
socks
God.
off? I will never
I know
use
everyone
this
was
phrase again.
really waiting for this part of the convo.
This is very violent. Originally used to describe a beating so strong that it knocked the opponent's socks off.
God.
That is really violent.
But I feel like
I'm never using that phrase again.
No, I feel like the way we use it is like excitement, right?
Yeah, like you're so impressed by someone. That person's presentation knocked your socks off. Like, no, they did not. That presentation did not beat the shit out of you. That your socks came off.
God. Next time someone says it, like any environment, we're like, actually, do you know the origin
did you know?
of this?
Did you know? Man, there were things that we say, like drink the Kool-Aid, shit like that we just, come on. All right.
It's so bad.
I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to start questioning why we say the things we say.
Not say knock your socks off anymore. It also sounds really old. As I said it, I'm like, I sound really fucking old. Like a grandparent. Oh, no.
Did he knock your socks off, Julie?
Okay, so back to burnout though. If you feel like you can feel you're getting to the 5 and above, what do you do then?
Well, one is recognizing it, because I think that there's that denial stage. I forget which stage that is. But once you're in denial, there's nothing you can do. So if you're recognizing it, at least you're catching it early before going into denial. And then the thing that we've been telling people to do is like, look at the reality of things. Have you made connections on the apps? Probably yes. Have you gone on some pretty stellar dates? Probably yes. Have you had a good time in dating before? Probably yes. And it's to collect all the evidence for why things have worked out for you instead of like all the evidence against and saying that there's just nobody good out there.
I actually saw this post on Instagram right before we came on here that has nothing to do with dating at all. It was actually more around career, but it was like, if you're feeling like you want to stop doing something or give up or that burnout coming, is it because you're actually afraid to get to that next level? Like you're afraid to like go deeper and to put yourself out in a different way and like where you are now, what's comfortable? And I think a lot of times in a way, staying in this complaining about dating is comfortable because you're not actually putting yourself out there to get hurt and to really fall in love with someone and the good and the bad that comes with that. And I think I know I can look back to my own life for years. I feel like I was staying in this comfortable place that I might have complained about, but it felt in a way more safe because it was what was normal for me.
That makes so much sense. There are conversations we have with our friends who are dating, and sometimes I think they're asking for advice when they actually just want to vent about dating. And now what you're saying just makes so much sense for that because being mad about dating and being resentful about dating is the norm and everyone's doing it. And then it also takes the blame off of you.
Yeah.
You don't have to be accountable. And it sometimes is fun to complain about dating and tell us your crazy, wacky dating stories. So yeah, when you're like asking for a lot of people who've asked us for advice and then you give them advice back and they just go, no, let me keep
They don't
complaining.
want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it. So maybe that's what it is too, is like when you are at that point of burnout, are you just staying in the comfort zone of complaining and being negative, or what is the next step you can take to get out of it? Like, can you stop yourself mid-complaint?
I think another question we got a lot at these events and in general is like, how do you be more optimistic and hopeful? And this one's like tough because we can't just say, be hopeful, be optimistic. It's like not helpful at all if you're not feeling that way. I think it's baby steps. Like there's a way to just see like like looking at maybe the positive and gratitude list, as cheesy as they are, there is a lot of science that they work. And I think just even looking at like, okay, did this date bring me a little closer to where I want to go? Like, I feel like when I felt like more hopeful, it was like I was meeting people that were at least on my wavelength. Even if they didn't work out, I was like, okay, I went on this date and had a good time. I met someone new and interesting. They feel like the type of person I could end up with. They weren't like so in left field where in the past, maybe I'd gone on crazier dates. So I think just like every little step that feels like it's moving in the direction, if you can look at it that way, it feels like progress is being made. And I think that's really what makes someone hopeful, at least I don't know, certain personalities. I think achiever types like me, when I wasn't seeing results or when I don't see results in any way, even if they're not like sweeping big results, that's what makes me unhopeful. Like when it's just no movement is happening. So any movement keeps me motivated to just keep going.
And maybe even a one step before that is having the clarity in what you're trying to achieve with dating.
Yeah, totally.
We can get burnout so easily because when we're lost in dating and are just running in circles, of course you're going to get burnt out. But if you have a clear North Star that we talk about in our book of why you're dating in the first place, then every date brings you closer to that direction. And I still think about that blind date I went on with the guy, Andrew, who totally changed my trajectory of my dating style. He's a poker player. In the middle of our date, he called it out that I was being performative and not being my real self. That date did not end in a relationship, but it opened my eyes to this whole new way of dating, a more authentic way. So if you were like, okay, was that a successful date? Well, if you're looking at it from a relationship standpoint, no. But if you look at it from a growth and learning standpoint, it was such a pivotal date for me to go on. So every date could bring you some nugget of information about you that brings you closer to your North Star.
Love that. And I think the mindset too is so huge. And, another way to gain hope is to read our book, How to Be Dateable or listen on audiobook. That is what our editor said when she finished reading it. She's like, it feels hopeful. It feels like a big hug. It's going to be all okay. You're going to make it through. And the reality too is I always love saying this because I think it helps people that are in the thick of it. Looking at like everyone in my life, they found their way eventually.
Yeah.
And even if there was a setback, like even like you, right? Like I feel like you had a huge setback a couple years ago, but where you are today is like so much more positive. And seeing you in this relationship compared to your last one, it's like night and day.
Night and day.
Night and day. And I just see like the change and like lightness that you have and just the way that you are. So it's like, I'm using this as an example that like even the worst of things that could happen to you, yes, it's tough in the moment. It's really incredibly hard, but eventually it works itself out. And I've seen this with so many friends too.
And I feel like dating is the only area in our life, well, not the only, but one of the few areas in our life where it's not linear. And we feel like, oh, I've gone on 100 dates this year. Why haven't I found my person? That's not how dating works. Like there are people who've gone on one date and found their person, and people who've gone on thousands of dates and then found, like our guest Brooke, who went on almost 1,000 dates and ended up finding her husband at a hotel lobby bar when she was just out with friends. She wasn't even looking for someone to date. So if we think about it that way, then it's not about us building up to this grand achievement or a milestone. It's like everything is doing something for us, not against us.
I think it's linear in the sense that you can grow from every experience and like keep progressing that way. But I agree 100% that it's not linear. Like, oh, if I go on 50 dates, I have a better shot than if I went on 20 dates. You know, like that is not accurate at all.
No. And then, we're seeing people who were in such happy relationships and then something unexpected happens and the relationship ends or they have to part ways. The future is so unpredictable, and even if you get into the relationship you thought you wanted, you still don't have a guaranteed future. So it's about staying present in what you're learning from each interaction and understanding. This is like the question we get is like, why are people so boring? Like the conversations I have are so boring. These dates are so blah. Well, everyone is interesting, but it takes a little bit of time and connection building for people to come out of their shell or to reveal a little bit about themselves. So maybe think about each date as a challenge for yourself is how do you reveal a little bit more of you and the person you're with?
I love that. And what a great way to end this episode on that note, because there you go. There is the way to leave it. I love talking about this topic. I mean, we could probably talk about this topic for hours, but
we don't want to get burned out.
We don't want to get burnt out, but take the time you need. If you need to like exit the dating scene, I love not exiting completely, but maybe it's decentering it, that it doesn't need to be the pivotal focus for you. You can still go on apps once a week. You can still go out and about. And if someone crosses your path, but you don't need to be like on the hunt and devoted every second. I so much prefer that than to be like, I'm just uninstalling the apps and not doing anything. That being said, though, there was a time in my life where I was going through extreme heartbreak and I really couldn't do it at all. And looking back, that actually helped me a lot. As long as you're using the time to reflect and to move forward and not just staying ruminating in why dating is the worst.
Live your life. Lead with yourself and your interests first. Don't lead with dating.
But go pick up our book.
Pick up our book, which is called How to Be Dateable, yet the entire book teaches you how to be strong and clear in who you are and lead with yourself, your interests, your needs to be happy in dating.
I actually think about when we were at Barnes & Noble's, we had one person come by and she's like, I don't need this book. I'm not dating.
Yeah.
She was kind of giving her approach of how she was, living her life. And we're like, actually, I think you're really going to resonate with this book. And she ended up buying the book.
She did.
She went from, I don't need this book to, actually, this sounds really useful and helpful. And it's not like your traditional dating book in the sense that we're going to be like, here's the 5 steps to upload your profile. Like, we're not doing that.
No. And I'm sorry for anybody who thought that was in the book.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Howtobedateable.com is where you can find our book.
And happy brunching, everyone.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.